Okay, what we've got here is section 15.4, page 2260 in real questions. Now, this is question 1. It says, state whether each of the following pairs of triangles is congruent. So I've got A, look at these two, B, look at these two. It says for each pair that is congruent, I've got to give the condition that's being met. In other words, what is the rule we're talking about? And the shapes are not drawn accurately, so don't go measuring angles and sides. Now, what have I got here? I've got a 4 matching this 4. I've got a 5 matching, sorry, that 5 there, rub that out quickly, and I've got a 6 matching that 6 there. I've got 3 sides which correspond with each other, therefore they are congruent, these two triangles, because this is the side, side, side rule. Okay, congruent, yep, why? Side, side, side rule. Now what about this here? Let's study it carefully. I have a 7 matching the 7, so far so good. I have an 8 matching the 8, so I've got 2 sides, and look, I have an angle that's between them, so I've got 100 degrees of an angle there, and it spans the 7 and 8 centimetre part of the triangle, and look, also spanning the 7 and 8 centimetre side, I have an angle of 100 degrees. Therefore, these two triangles are still congruent. And the rule is side, angle, side. That's meant to be like a colon, not a whatever, a dash. So here we go. Side, angle, side rule, and that's fine. Next one, let's take a good look at this. Well, I've got 3 angles all exactly the same, but don't be fooled by that. Even if I have 3 angles identical, it doesn't make the triangle identical, because the second triangle, or even the first one, could be an awful lot bigger. Think of a small equilateral triangle, 60, 60, 60. Now think of a giant equilateral triangle. They still go 60, 60, 60, but they're not an identical size. They're similar to each other, mathematically similar, like we did before in 15.3, but they're not congruent. So let's just study where this 8 is planted. Right, I've got a 30 and a 30, so I've got you and I've got you. I've got an 80 on this side, and that matches the 80 here. But look at where the 8 is. This 8 is between the 30 and 80 degree corners. However, this 8 is between the 30 and 70 degree corners. Therefore, these triangles are not congruent. Had this 8 been here, then that would have been congruent, okay? And then that wasn't there, they would be congruent. But as it stands, they're not congruent. So I'm going to rub it out just to show you the fact that I can't get 3 out of 3. So these are not congruent. And I don't even have to explain why. They're just not congruent. End of. Now what about here? I've got the 7 and a 7. Very good. So far so good. They're both opposite the 50, so then they're in the correct sort of place. Now what about this 8 here? Yes, I like this 8. This 8 sits very comfortably with the position of that 8. And I've got an angle. Now these triangles are still not congruent, because to be congruent you must have an angle, which they both have, and the 2 sides must form that angle. So I have an 8 and an 8. But had this 7 been on this side, and had this 7 been on this side, then we would have had a side angle side rule, SAS rule. But as this rule, the SAS rule does not apply to here, neither does any other rule, because it doesn't fit any of the 4 rules for congruency. So therefore these are not congruent. No further explanation. Next one, what have we got here? Exactly the same. Look at it. I've got a 6 and 8, and the 6 and the 8 sides make an angle of 75 degrees between them. But over here, look, I've got a 75 and an 8, but the 6 is out of position. Had the 6 been here, it would have been fine. But as it stands, they're not congruent, because I don't have, even now, a side angle side rule, even though I have a side angle side here. The other triangle does not match that description, therefore I cannot guarantee that these 2 triangles are identical, so they are not congruent. Turning over, that's the rest of them. What have we got here? Careful now, don't dismiss it straight away. 60, 70, 50, 60. Well sir, the angles are different. Well, let's just look at that, shall we? 60 plus 70 is 130, which means this angle must be 50 degrees. It's still a triangle after all. So what have I got here? 60 and 50, 110. Therefore the remaining angle is 70 degrees. Now let's study what we've got. We have a 60-degree angle, that one, which matches that one perfectly. So we'll shade in red that little bit there. We've got a 50-degree angle right there, and that matches this 50-degree angle right here. So I'll shade that bit in. What have I got? I've got a 50 and a 50, a 60 and a 60, and I've got a length that spans the two angles. Okay, look at the position of the 9 centimeter line. I go angle, side, angle. Check on this side. Same 60, same angle, same 9, same length, same angle, 50. So I've got an ASA. Therefore, these are congruent triangles, because I have angle, side, angle, ASA rule, and that's lovely. Good to find one, isn't it? What about this one here? Well, I've got an 80-degree angle there, but nothing here. Let's just work out the mystery angle first before we go any further. 120 plus 60 makes 180. 100 here plus the other 80 gives us 180. Now let's study what we've got. Yes, we have a congruent triangle. Look at that. We have a 40, which matches this 40 perfectly. Don't matter how the triangle looks, just go by the numbers. So they've got that 40 matches that one. I've got this 80 here matching that 80. Just put a little blue blob there. And I've got the length between these two angles, 8, which is the same. So I've got an 8 there and an 8 there. What have I got? Angle, side, angle. 40, 8, 80. Angle, side, angle. 40, 8, 80. Guess what? They are congruent. How do you know? Angle, side, angle. It's another ASA rule. Now what about this? Well, I have got a right angle for sure. The length opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse, so they're both 10s, and therefore so far so good. Now, and I also have a 6 there and a 6 there. These are also corresponding other sides. Therefore I've got a right angle, a hypotenuse and a side. Once more, right angle, hypotenuse and another corresponding side. Therefore these are congruent. Why? Right angle, hypotenuse, side rule. That's it, RHS rule. What about over here? Let's just do some mathematics on the missing angle. So we have got 99 leaves us with 81 degrees to take it up to 180. Just check again. 81 plus 59, 60 plus 80, that's 140. 140 plus 40 is 180. What have I got here? 121, so I'm missing 121, that'll be 59 degrees left. So far I've got 3 identical angles. It all depends where the 10 centimeter line falls. And look at it carefully. Look at it carefully. 59, 10, 40. Look at this side. 59, 10, 40. I've got an angle, side, angle rule. Therefore these two triangles are congruent. One more time. Angle, side, angle. 59, 10, 40. Over this side, 59, 10, 40. Angle, side, angle. So they are congruent. ASA rule. Now what about over here? Well, I've got, just do this carefully. I've got 43 there and a 90, so I've got a 90 and a hypotenuse, works out quite nicely. I don't have another side. At the moment, we're not congruent. However, this is a triangle, as is that a triangle. I can work out the missing length. Well, I can see that the missing length here is 47 degrees, so it all adds up to 180. This little lot here, and this missing angle will be 43 degrees, because it all adds up to 180. Now let's just study this again. Do I have an RHS rule? No, because I don't have a corresponding side other than the H, the hypotenuse. But look very, very carefully. I have got, excuse me, 47 degrees, 10 centimeter line, 43 degrees. One more time, 47 degrees, 10 centimeter line, 43 degrees. So I've actually got an angle, side, angle. 47, 10, 43. Here it is again. Angle, side, angle. 47, 10, 43. Therefore, these triangles are definitely congruent, but it's not the obvious RHS rule. We don't know what the sides are. We don't know what these other two sides are, but we do have two angles and they're joined together by a common length. So these are congruent. And that's because they are ASA, angle, side, angle rule. And I think I'll stop there. It's a lot to take in. I've done lots of little questions, and I'll do other standalone questions bit by bit. So that'll do for now. Okay.